Hello, Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
I'm Joe.
Welcome to the Slovak Farm.
This is the farm where we grow cross stitch.
One stitch at a time. I can't see out my glasses. Today is Monday, September 5th. It's a new month. It is Labor Day in the United States. It was back to school day across the United Kingdom. All of my UK friends were posting the back to school pictures. Tomorrow, well, if you're a child, or if you're a grandchild, or if your nieces, nephews, cousins, whoever has not already gone back to school, tomorrow's the day. In the States, there's one school in the area that has not gone back to school yet. And actually, that's our local district.
So tomorrow, for all the people like me, is, God dang it, we need to leave 5 minutes early. So she gets, oh yeah, I gotta double check the date, but I think next week or the following week they're actually closing the ramp for me to get on the highway.
Oh dear.
So I've got to get creative on how to get to work.
Oh my.
And honestly, the best way is probably to go only 10 minutes on my way to work, just because it's going to be expensive.
Well, you can go. There's no. You won't.
I'm avoiding the school.
You can avoid
they're very
the school.
active.
You can avoid the school. I will. I don't know how you can go.
So do I.
Anyways, someone got his ears lowered.
I got mad at it. So I hit it with the mini weed whacker.
The mini weed whacker.
Yes, I cut my own hair. It's kind of easy when you do this.
You know what else today is?
Labor Day.
I already said Labor Day. Today is the feast day for St. Teresa of Calcutta. That's Mother Teresa, for those of you who are not Catholic. 25 years ago, Mother Teresa passed away. When saints are canonized in the Catholic Church, their feast days are most frequently the day of their death. Occasionally it will be on their birthday of their birth, but with a lot of them, their actual birth date is not known, so it's generally the day of their death. Random information that I have in my brain.
Do you have any not random information in your brain?
Nope. Because the useful stuff just right out. But the unuseful stuff is there forever.
Depends on honey, there's some useful information that stays in your head, and I'm very glad it does. Cooking.
This is true.
Because everything I know from cooking, I learned from you. I love my mother.
Speaking of cooking.
My mom sucks at cooking.
Your poor mom. Speaking of cooking, I have a question for y'all. Do you know what haystacks are? He did not know what haystacks were.
You never made them before.
And he's right. I've never made them. They're one of those things that it's a no-bake cookie. If you know what a haystack is, they also go by the name of chow mein cookies. And that's where he figured it out, found them out, because there's this TikToker. His videos go over to Facebook and Instagram. What is it? B. Dylan Hollis.
That was Dylan B, I think.
Dylan B. something. His name's Dylan.
It's B. Dylan Hollis is his account name.
Okay. And that's where we find him on all social media. But anyways, he made chow mein cookies, and Joe's like, look, these look good. I'm like, those are haystacks. But he used chocolate. And I personally, my haystacks, I'm familiar with them with all butterscotch. But anyways, I've made I just made the second batch today.
Oh, and real quick, it is a little over 2 cups of butterscotch. It's 12 ounces. Half a cup of peanuts and 5 ounces of the chow mein noodles. Mixed together and then laid out on parchment paper to dry.
Well, see, and that's I'm a little bit...
How the flip do I remember that?
I don't know, but the recipes on Pinterest actually have 2 bags of either 2 bags of butterscotch chips or a bag of butterscotch chips, bag of chocolate chips. A 12-ounce bag of chow mein noodles, 6-ish ounces of peanuts. And actually, I found quite a few recipes that put peanut butter in with it. We tried that this time to see how it tastes.
Okay.
I can tell you that what I licked out of the bowl tasted pretty dang good. I don't know how we got on this random tangent sort of thing, but that's where we're at today. It has been a dreary weekend.
That's why they doubled the ingredients. Each bag's about 12 ounces.
Yeah.
You put 6. So you put 2 full bags because they have twice as much lo mein.
And
It's literally a double batch from what he made.
And I'm sure he made a smaller batch because he really... It's only him. Like,
he doesn't think he was going to like it.
He doesn't live with anybody, but he makes really weird recipes. Yeah, he makes really weird retro vintage recipes, and some of them are really terrible. He
collects retro stuff. Like, his car, I think, is from the 50s or 60s.
I'd have to look at it.
It looks kind of like in the same vein as Elvis's car.
Okay, so then it's
that same era, at least.
Yeah, it's probably 50s, 60s. Yeah, he collects vintage, retro, antique stuff, and he found out... And
he loves cookbooks.
He found a cookbook, and he found some really crazy recipes, and he decided to start trying them, and they took off on TikTok.
And now he gets sent random recipes.
So now he gets sent things, and he makes some pretty weird recipes, and a lot of them are disgusting, and some of them he's surprised that are really good.
Nothing with Spam has been good yet.
Nothing with Spam has been good. I've never had Spam in my life.
Spam is literally... Spam is good if your options are Spam or toast.
There are people out there who love Spam.
I am sorry.
There are people out there who love Spam. This one time, there was an episode of, I believe it was No Reservations. I don't think it was,
Also, he doesn't cook the Spam right. He doesn't cook it the way you're supposed to, at least the way I was taught. Like, the way I was taught is you thin slice it to about like a 1/4 inch thick, and then you put it into a hot cast iron skillet, brown one side, brown the other side. You serve it between toast.
I've seen that. What I was going to say was, and actually that's what I saw, there was an episode of, I believe it was No Reservations. No. I don't think it was No Reservations. I take that back. I think it was Parts Unknown. One of Anthony Bourdain's shows. He was in South Korea, and he did... It had to have been Parts Unknown, because it was like a YouTube cooking guy. A South Korean YouTuber that did cooking recipes, and he did like everything with Spam. Because apparently Spam is big in South Korea. I have no idea. We've just...
So they eat Spam while playing StarCraft.
Apparently. I don't know. One of those things. It's been a very dreary weekend here. Saturday was nice. Saturday, Joe helped Dad cut up some firewood. So, funny story. What was it? About a month ago, I called up Mom and said, "Hey, Mom, we need some firewood. Does Dad have any?" Mom goes, "Yeah." Well, when we got there that following day, because that was a Saturday. Sunday, we always eat dinner with Mom and Dad. Dad's like, "Actually, I don't have firewood. We have to go get the tree out of the back and then bring it up here and slice it and split it." Okay, no big deal. So I don't want to do it right now because it was really hot. I mean, obviously, about a month ago, it was mid-August. It was super hot. And it was actually, yeah, it was about a month ago because it was right before we went to the lake. Maybe a month and a half. But anyways, okay, we'll wait till it cools off. So it just was like hot and hot and hot and hot. And a couple weeks ago, we pull in. The tractor's sitting next to the barn with the log behind it. Okay, guess we don't need help with that. Okay, so when are we going to do this? We were supposed to do it last weekend, but it was hot last weekend, so we decided we were going to do it this week.
Past weekend. 2 weekends ago, 1 weekend ago.
2 weekends ago, we were going to do it. Well, it was like super hot. It was like 90. Dad's like, yeah, let's not do that. I won't tell you what he actually said because it's kind of crude. So then we decided we're going to do it this past weekend. Well, talking with Mom, deciding what day we're going to do it. She goes, well, your dad's already got it sliced up. Then what are we coming to help with exactly? She goes, I don't know.
I can tell you what it is.
What?
He has a hydraulic splitter, if you're wondering what that is. It's a piston with a wedge on it, powered by a compressor, and basically just keeps coming down. Then the handle go up, handle down, comes down, splits the wood, comes down, splits. You just keep putting the wood up there until it's split to the size you want. Well, it's really annoying to split it and then stack it. I did the stacking part.
I do know that my mother said he was very excited that the splitter was working when he got it all pulled out and was working on it. So,
the splitter was working more than halfway through the morning that day he got it working.
Yeah, he was very excited to get the splitter working. So, whatever.
I'm expecting a mosh pit, and then him going, "Hey Joe, mind help me stack that?"
I mean,
I can see it. It's your dad. Though if it keeps raining like this, maybe not.
I know. And then it rained all day yesterday, and it's been dreary and gray, and it hasn't been rainy today here, but it's been dreary and gray, and it's kind of rained areas around us.
Literally just south of your parents.
Yeah, to give you an idea of rain yesterday, baseball game started at 2 o'clock, rain delay at 3:15ish. They didn't start the game back up until 8. I'm honestly surprised. Well, okay, let me rephrase it. It's September. I'm not surprised they played the game because the Cleveland Indians, have had the most double headers this season at 13 because of weather delays. They actually, I don't think, are scheduling double headers on purpose anymore in the MLB. We've just ended up with that many.
And it hasn't all been Cleveland, though.
Yeah, I don't know. They've changed their scheduling. Next year, all the baseball teams are playing. They're going to play every team at least once. This current format, there are teams you don't see for 5 or 6 years unless you make it to the postseason. Did not have a very good run this weekend against Seattle. Hopefully Kansas City's a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to be because 2 of our good pitchers are on the injured list.
We had BS for 13 minutes.
We have talked about crazy random stuff for 13 minutes. I hope you all are enjoying this insanity. I can tell you that the Buckeyes played on Saturday and won.
As we went over before, college football is very important.
It's a thing.
My brother posted something about this is the last weekend without football until February.
NFL football, because it was college football this week.
And my response was, I'm looking forward to February. He has yet to reply.
Yeah, well.
Probably because he got mad at me. And he doesn't want to say anything because the reason I hate football is him.
Yeah, well.
I'm sorry, more
because...
squirrel time. More squirrel time. My brother loves football. He overkill loves football. And my mom said he's allowed to watch football as long as I agree. He took the cushions off the couch, threw me on the couch, put the cushions on top of me, and sat down so I couldn't tell my mom upstairs for the entire freaking football game.
It's the caliber of the human your brother is.
And people wonder why I hate this crap.
I don't love football. I mean, I cheer on the Buckeyes, but hockey and baseball are more my thing. Hockey will be back soon. Training camp starts this month for hockey, so.
No, I think we pressed. No, we need to do
the only redeeming quality to fall is hockey. No, there are plenty of redeeming qualities to fall. The temperature is not one of them.
Yes, it is.
I hate the cold.
Well, it's better than sweating your woo off.
I would rather sweat my hoo off than sit in the cold and be achy and painy. But my achy painy is moot point to everybody because they hate the hot, and the hot makes them miserable, and their problems are more important than Laura's problems. So.
Go show them what I got you for our anniversary to can it.
I will not go grab them, but I apologize that our intro is taking this long. But let me tell you, our anniversary was Thursday, and this man right here. So we agreed we were not going to buy presents because we just put a bunch of money down on the pool. But he went out and bought me presents.
EDD.
Because I said there are never enough blankets in the world. I was complaining about the incoming cold because I hate being cold. See previous statements. He bought me 2 blankets for our anniversary. And he bought me this really cute ceramic mug that's got a lid that goes on it so I can actually take it out of the house.
It's got like it looks like a handle like a proper mug.
It's like a coffee mug, but it's got a lid that seals it so I can take it out of the house because this mug keeps it way too hot for me to be able to drink it. So if I take my coffee with me somewhere, I don't have a mug I can take with me. But then he pulls out a bag of white chocolate chips and goes, I was going to make you something with this, but I forgot.
I also kind of don't know where the form is to make what I was going to make.
It's okay, because you know what? I'll just make chocolate chip cookies, put some white chocolate chips in them.
I actually just pour them into a bowl and eat them.
Also a possibility.
Last time I checked, there's only one type of white chocolate.
It was hilarious, y'all. Hilarious.
It's us.
It was great. And no, I did not get him anything for our anniversary because we said we were buying presents.
To be fair, if it wasn't the week of our anniversary, you would have just got the blankets when I bought them. Probably my butt. I'm sorry. And any of the guys who are watching this, or any women who want to pause the video and go grab them, you don't need an excuse to buy your wife something nice, especially if it's under $20.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
they were from Dollar General. They're not super expensive blankets, but they are nice and cozy. They're nice, cozy blankets.
Exactly. You don't have to buy diamonds and gold and all this fancy stuff. If your woman is sitting there going, I'm cold, go find a freaking small blanket. Or just go upstairs and get a blanket for them. And if they're saying they're hungry and they don't want to cook, literally say you're not cooking and pick up their favorite food, because if you've been with them long enough, you know what they order. Swing by, pick up something up, and bring it home. It's not hard.
It's not.
You don't need an excuse to be cute. And yes, guys, women appreciate it when you're being cute. Deal.
You're cute. You do. So, now we have spent 18 minutes kind of going random choo-choo train. Buckle up. This might be a long one.
I already thought of the title we should use for this video.
What?
The squirrels have taken over the train.
Why don't we shout out our commenters and then we will
Hiya!
along.
Pauline, Teresa, Bridget, Victoria, Craft, Cave Dwelling,
Angie.
Girl! Stop! You're hurting my head!
She's had that name for a while.
She's had that in my head. I have 5 different names for her now. It's my head. Glenna and Tamara. Thank you for the anniversary wishes.
Thank you all for the anniversary wishes. We appreciate it. Let us move on to whips now. Whips.
All aboard the squirrel train!
Come on, ride the train, the choo-choo train. Okay.
Oh, we're hurt.
I was doing that before we turned the camera back on, and he's like, you have to do that again. I'm like, I can't. It was spur of the moment.
Nora Corbett, Evanora. Did not get much stitching in.
No.
Just didn't. But I got some in. You
What you got in? You got in how much? Like maybe
4 lines, 4 or 5 lines.
That's not bad.
And it actually took me over an hour.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I might stitch later tonight. The thing is, she lied. She did get me something for her anniversary. She let me blow money on video games.
That's true. You've got almost all of the black done.
Yeah.
Of course, you have a lot of the...
Everything. This is all kinds of crazy on this one. I think I picked out the bigger one.
Well, I think that's the water lily. I'd have to look. But anyways, there's plenty of the water lily. Okay. Let us start with, what is this?
A bag.
A bag. Okay. So, all that jazz week. Wrapping up all that jazz week last week. Because if you guys recall, I started some of it the previous weekend because I had finished the monthly. I'm going to finish the September monthlies ahead of time too. So, and here's why. The September monthly, I'll talk about what exactly all it is when we do plans, but I pulled out One Nation by Bygone Stitches for 2 of them. So, something to remind you of elementary school. Who here learned 50 nifty United States from the 13 original colonies? I did. I cannot recite the states in alphabetical order, but I can sing the beginning of the song. And I do remember that the song is in alphabetical order. So the states are in alphabetical order on this flag. I learned that in elementary school, so we use that for that. And also classrooms have flags in them. They still have flags in them. Fight me on it. Go ahead. They still have flags in them.
Plus, where did you learn the 50 states?
Elementary school. So elementary school and something you would find in a classroom were 2 different prompts. So I did 616 stitches on this. This is on a piece of Slovak Farm dirt road. It is 28 count. It is ginormous. I did that on purpose. There's a solid chance now I probably wouldn't have made it any bigger, but actually, had I thought about this when I started, I might have done it on 25 count just to make it big. I don't know why I want this flag so daggone big, but I did.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at our walls and wondering where you're putting all this stuff.
I don't know why I wanted this flag so daggone big, but I did. So, it is on 28 count. It is obviously going to be smaller if you stitch it on something smaller. So we need to go this way. So my 616 stitches was Kansas, West Virginia, Nevada, and the line down here.
I got you.
So that was my 616 stitches. So I have 3 lines below the one I'm working on to finish, plus one I'm working on. So I have like 3.5 more lines to finish. I started this back in 2020, Glenna? Was it 2020? Nathan, was it 2020? I don't remember when we started this. I think it was 2020. But it's chugging along to be finished. I know it was not 2021 because this was one of my zombie run pieces for 2021. It's chugging along. We'll get there eventually. All right. So then I decided to pull out a greyhound here. So I use this for a monthly to my favorite teacher. My favorite teacher was my English lit teacher, and she is a big dog person. And so doggy stuff reminds me of her. And then I also used this for a weekly for the new week. Something that related to ancient Egypt, because greyhounds were found on tombs in ancient Egypt, from ancient Egypt. So there was a little bit of frogging involved in this, but nothing like major. It was Laura is stupid and did something dumb. I did 639 stitches on this, and the frogging was in here. I filled this in with the wrong color initially, so it wasn't terrible. And I am just pulling colors out of my stash that work with the block the way I want it to look. So the January Greyhound has a green like winter coat on, and there's a mug, a brown mug that's got some steam coming off of it. Coffee, hot cocoa, whatever you want it to be. I'm not going to make the mug brown. I'm going to make it purple. I have contemplations of changing the color of the sweater on the Greyhound too.
Oh, I know exactly what color you should make it.
What?
What's the hottest pink you got?
Our dog's a girl. She has all pink stuff.
No, her winter jacket that she has
is bright pink.
Which is actually a really good thing because our black dog cannot be lost.
True. So I should make it pink to go with my black dog. I think I'm going to make that change.
And just for anybody out there, I don't think anybody like this watches our video. But if in the future somebody who doesn't know us very well watches this video, if you have a problem with people changing colors on patterns, bye. It's your own project. You can do what you want, and you have no right whatsoever to tell somebody what they should do on their own stuff. And if you don't like it, shut up.
Some people just don't like to change colors because they're like, I don't know what to do. I just kind of...
You can do that on your own stuff. That could be your preference.
Throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, but you can do whatever you want on your own project, but be respectful to other people having the same freedom.
And really, with a Greyhound year, the reason I'm stitching it is because I have a hound. I love my hound, so I'm going to personalize it to very much be reflective of my hound. I don't remember what color the April Hound is. The April Hound is going to be black. Because...
with a little bit of white.
With some white around them. Because because my birthday's in April, Bandy's birthday is in April, and we adopted her officially in April.
It's a very April doggy month.
So.
Yeah, here's the greatest way I can think of to describe our dog. She's black, but she looks like she ran over a white ink roller. Because her chin and her belly are white.
She's going gray, too, in the muzzle. That happens. Okay. Onto my sow. So, let me tell you all of the story. So, the Daily 30 extra prompt this year, that is to work on a sow. And show proof of the sow, and for some reason, and I was not the only one. I know of at least 3 or 4 of my friends thought it included series, like thought the prompt actually said sow or series. It does not. It never did. I don't know where we got it from. Thankfully, most of the series that we submitted, technically there's a hashtag sow that goes along with it.
So, technically, it just needs a hashtag.
Yes. So, if it's got a sow, if it's a sow that was released, like Supernaturals is released as a sow. It's it's called the sow. It's released as a stitch along on a set schedule from the designer. Fall on the Farm is technically not called a sow by the designer. There is a hashtag for it, so it works. But I did pull out Fall on the Farm this week to work on it. We've been looking up. So then we started looking up.
How did...
What?
This cross stitching is complicated enough with 30 different types of stitches, 10 different types of beading, 3 different types of fabric, God knows how many types of squares. This is just, and now you, oh my God.
And I may pull this off my style rotation anyways, because I can work this into prompts quite frequently. The whole reason I started doing the style portion was to, obviously, if you've been around long enough, to work on Peppermint Purple, because I couldn't fit it into prompts. I can fit this into a lot of prompts. I don't necessarily find a way to fit Supernaturals into prompts. So I may take Fall on the Farm off of doing it for the style thing and just work it into prompts. And it does stitch up pretty quick. And just do Supernaturals for the style thing. Maybe I can actually catch up and get on schedule. Probably not.
Honey.
What?
I love you with all of my heart and soul. You won't catch up.
I won't.
I know you. The only way you would catch up is if you literally quit every group you're in and only stitched on that project. And that's about as likely to happen as a meteor landing on people we don't like.
I wouldn't have to quit all my groups because all of my groups either offer alternative stitches or you don't have to fit it into anything.
No, but still, you get my point.
Yes. So, Fall on the Farm, I did 300 even stitches on this, which was, oh, I'm like, what did I do? I finished the fence border and put the birds and the scarecrow in. Did I have the birds in already? I might have had the birds in already. I might have just started on the scarecrow. I think that's what I did. This block's called No Crows Allowed. Block 3. This is on a piece of 32 Dirt Road by the Slovak Farm. These are, and these stitch up so quick. Like, really? They're not really difficult. It's not intense stitching. The final one did finally show up last week. So all 9 I have, well, okay, let me rephrase that. I have 8 of the 9 because for some reason block 4 has disappeared completely from this household. I don't know where they went. It's kind of like that box of missing DMC white. Still don't know where that is. They're probably somewhere together.
You want to know what probably happened?
Huh?
You have an idiot for a husband. And I would not be surprised if I was cleaning something up and I either stashed it somewhere or file 13'd it.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. That's why I don't like cleaning up other people's stuff, because I usually throw something out that's needed.
To be truthful, you know, I'll be able to sell the Fall on the Farm blocks down the road for somebody who wants it. And you never can have enough white thread. And I've just pulled white out of the Sullivan stash. So, no big. I don't know where her cover photo is. I'm not going to look for it.
Which one is it?
Raven Queen. There's basket behind the computer. It could be in there. It may not be. If it's not in there and he doesn't find it, oh well. So yesterday was my chug along on Raven Queen. Oh, he found it.
Hey, I get to hold it up because I found it.
Mirabilia's Raven Queen. I use this for 2 monthlies. For extracurricular and your favorite lesson. If you ask me, she looks like she's ready for some drama club or a theater production.
Or she's about to teach you a lesson that you don't want to learn.
My favorite lesson in school, I guess, was, I mean, what most people know as home economics. We called it family consumer science. I don't even think most schools it exists anymore because of teaching to the stupid test. But anyways, it's raining. But we didn't sew like complicated clothes, but we did sew a couple basic garments and did some basic sewing. So that relates to my favorite lesson. So I did 610 stitches on her. She is on fabric we titled Raven Queen by the Slovak Farm. And I am doing a color conversion on her to red. So we also call her Regina because she was inspired by Regina from Once Upon a Time. My 610 stitches was this right here. Stitching on this little dense piece of background. I am doing all of the background before I finish off her dress. And this is why. If I don't get that background done, it will not get done. It's no joke, y'all. I mean, I was relatively unmotivated with stitching yesterday. Like, I just didn't want to stitch. I didn't think I was going to do much more than 300 stitches, but I ended up doing 2 prompts on her. So, tells you how effective the, that little bit was, but it was kind of like, I don't want to do this. I don't know why I was in the mood yesterday.
It's outside.
That's true.
Like, this is the weather where you just want to blanket hot cocoa and just sit there going, I want sun. I want sun.
And for anybody who may ask, I am converting her reds. Most of them are from my Victorian motto stash. So there's really not an available conversion because most of them don't have a DMC equivalent on them. My apologies. And finally, I had to finish this week. My Stitcher's Heart by Hands On Design. You guys have seen this. So this is a piece of oopsies that may not be an oopsies anymore. May be able to put it in the regular line. I don't know. So that's the box top. This is upside down. This is the wax keep, which I'll probably just turn into a pin pillow. This is the needle, the scissor fob. I finished all those last year in 2021. Really honestly thought I was going to finish the whole thing in 2021. That's why I dated it 2021. But I didn't. Oh well.
It'll be okay.
It is what it is, y'all.
That's why video games just date themselves over a span of years. A lot of video games you'll see like from 2020 to 2022.
I busted my butt and over the course of 2 days did 1,426 stitches to finish the tomato pin cushion.
I like those.
That was a lot of red. That was a lot of red.
Out of context, that could be taken kind of serial killerly.
True story.
So Angie would love it.
True story. That is my Stitcher's Heart. It is done. I do need to go onto her website and figure out how to FFO this.
And what is that for?
This is a pin cushion.
Okay, so literally it is a serial killer thing because you're literally just going to stab it in the heart over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Somebody asked me at Stitching Day last week, so I was stitching on this on Monday and Tuesday of last week. But they asked me if I had the box. I was like, of course not. Why would I have the box? So I'll have to get... but I don't know if I want to put it on the box or if I just want to frame it. I don't know what to do. I think if I do put it on the box, I will actually finish the wax keep as like a little pouch. Because then all the little bits go together. I don't really know what
I thought of a great thing you can use a wax keep for.
What?
Your current floss. You know, you take 2 strands off, you have 4 strands left. Put that in a little wax keep bag.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of annoyance doing that personally.
I know. So, that is a finish. Yay! I can't show you my other finish because somebody else already took it to, because someone already took it to use it. I crocheted Joe a little back scrubby. I'm working on a second one for him. When I finish the second one, we'll show it to you. But
so it's still actually wet from after I showered after I cut my hair.
Yep.
Because I don't know about you, but especially when you do this, you get the little hairs while you need to shower.
So that has been my stitching for the week.
Next contestant.
Next is plans and announcements.
Chicken turtle.
Plans and announcements.
Yay.
Do you have plans?
I'm going to see if I can actually get this half-hour a day thing down, because it's not working so far. Got something today. Got to try to do it for the rest of the week. It's just... Once I get it into a habit that I do, and I find a time in the day where I like to do it, it will be easy. But until I get it into a habit...
It's a challenge.
It's my brain. I like stitching. I need to make this a habit because I have a lot of stuff I want to get done. And literally, I start doing other things, and the next thing I know, my wife's telling me it's time to go to bed.
Which actually happened one night last week. Honey, you coming to bed? It's like 11:30. Oh, shit.
I wanted to get one more thing done at 10 o'clock. And then she's telling me it's 11:30, and I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah. It happens. All right, so...
So that's my plans to try to get more stitching in. Also, I'm going to have a request of you.
Okay.
I want to restart Liberty Angel.
Okay, what kind of fabric are we doing it on?
This color!
Thank you for yelling at me here. Okay.
Because that's the problem with Liberty Angel is the fact that the floss is the same color as the fabric. Basically, and it's making it really hard to stitch. It's hurting my eyeballs trying to spot the floss on the fabric. And yes, you were right.
Thank you. The fabric dyer wife does know a thing or two.
I'm just wondering if there's a way I can actually save the fabric so I can use it for something else.
You'll have to let me look at it, maybe.
Yeah, I could probably do a small something with it at least.
I'll do a small on it, yeah. Might be able to clip out what you already have stitched.
Mm-hmm. Oh, trust me, yeah, there's no way I do that nicely because I pull too hard on the floss. I ruin the A when I stitch it. I make the holes huge.
I'll have to look at it and see what we can come up with.
I have to figure out where the hell I put it first.
Okay. Is it... Anyways.
It's next to my chair in one of those 2 big bags.
Okay. Why did we buy a trunk with cross-stitch stuff if you don't put it in there?
Because your stuff completely fills the trunk.
No, it doesn't. There's plenty of space in there.
I was trying to be nice. Wait, I have that.
Okay.
And because trunks are cool.
That they are. Do you know what September 19th is? It's Talk Like a Pirate Day. Why does that matter right now? Well, because I did prompts for Talk Like a Pirate Day, but the only time we could fit it in was the beginning of the month. It's not a big deal. Pirates are cool any time of the year. So for Friday's release was Pirate Week. So, for as long as there have been ships, there have been pirates. Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun, these Egyptians and their names, actually there's recorded records that he complained about pirates looting his vessels and port towns. Ancient Greek and Roman trade routes were constantly harassed by pirates, but the golden age of piracy occurred between 1650 and 1720. It is when we had the likes of Blackbeard, Henry Morgan, and other infamous pirates. There even have been female pirates. Madame Ching Shi commanded nearly 300 ships and 40,000 sailors and is renowned as the most powerful pirate who ever lived. Girl power.
She had her own smoke. She had more ships than most countries.
This is very true. I didn't get
And
a
what year was that?
I didn't get a year on it. There wasn't a year on it. I probably should have Googled it and looked. But I didn't get a year on it. Unfortunately, there are still modern day sea pirates. There was a very newsworthy incident of
Somalian.
this. Yes, they operate off the coast of Africa and in the Indian Sea area nowadays. And there was a pretty significant ship hijacking, I guess you could say, and the captain actually managed to win his ship back from the sea pirates. It was made into a movie. I remember it very vaguely, but I do remember it. So the prompt was to stitch on something that you could connect to ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, or Asia. And as I told you all, I used a Greyhound here and connected Greyhounds to ancient Egypt. Okay. I got a lot of pirate facts, so I crammed a lot into these prompts. And some random stuff, too. Pirate loot was more than just silver, gold, coins, and jewelry. They would look for practical items for ship life, including food, and most importantly, maps. You can't sail without your map, right? Compass, those kind of things were also included in pirate loot. Interestingly enough, pirates also looted books because they needed to be able to read those maps. Privateers were state-sponsored pirates who stole from certain ships in order to disrupt the trade of rival political nations. The Star of Baltimore, I think that was the name of it, was a privateer ship. My brother did not like the fact that I said it was a pirate ship, but it was a pirate ship because it's a privateer. I go, state-sponsored piracy, buddy. State-sponsored piracy. So the prompt for that was to stitch on an item that has a practical use in it. Haven't got to that yet. I haven't quite figured out what I want to use for that. I have several things that have practical use items on it, so yes, dear.
Ready for more random info about that?
What?
Not only did they want maps, but they would also very heavily try to recruit any cartographers they could find. If you were a ship navigator and the crew didn't have a navigator, you might have become a pirate against your will.
Most often you didn't become a pirate against your will. But
it wasn't unlikely. Like, they would keep you long enough to teach somebody how to be a navigator, and then they'd let you go.
Between the end of the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812, the British actually would basically kidnap American citizens and press them into service in the British Navy.
Yep.
Random stuff that I know. Okay. Pirates did not dress like Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm sorry, folks. That's just not a practical look. Pirates needed practical attire that would allow them to work the ship, most dressed in uniforms, much like the merchant sailors. This was to make it easier for them to approach the ships, because if you didn't look outlandish, you would be believable as you're a fellow merchant ship and you were either offering aid or needed assistance, or they could get close. So, they did, however, wear eye patches. Not because they were missing eyes, but because, for one thing, when you're standing on deck looking through a scope eye, there's less to adjust to if one eye is constantly closed. But also because when they would go from above deck in the bright sunlight to below deck, they would move the patch over. This eye, the eye that was patched, was automatically adjusted to the dark.
Let me know if I'm allowed that additional information.
Go ahead.
Do you know why there was such rumors about pirates having peg legs and hook arms?
Because they actually would have peg legs and hook arms, because working on a ship and being a pirate was dangerous. I mean, you were swinging a sword at people.
Actually, that was the least of your hazards. The ropes.
Yes.
But no, would you like to know why they would always have that, though? Pirates had health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Pirates actually, if you lost a leg, they would not only pay for you to have a peg leg, but you would be compensated for the loss of your limb.
Yep.
They were also the only democracy at the time.
Yep.
The only time the captain was in complete control was during battle.
And do you know why pirates wore earrings?
To pay for their burial?
No. It was actually believed that compression on their earlobes would cure seasickness. It wasn't true, but
I thought it was.
So, for this, we will stitch on something that has some stitch on a whip that contains something completely impractical. I'm not really sure where I'm going with that. I mean, I thought about that because her dress is very impractical.
Actually, no. What's in her hand?
A raven.
How impractical is that as a pet?
A raven would be a very practical pet. Especially if you wanted people to think you were weird and creepy and wanted them to stay away from you. I'm just saying, not that I haven't got ideas. Okay, moving along. Pirate ships were sophisticated, well-running machines that actually offered crew members a much better deal than being a traditional sailor. Rules were clearly outlined and strictly followed. Health insurance. They had a retirement plan. The ship's captain was an elected position, and the captain was required to behave in accordance with ship rules too, whereas with most merchants, the captain could ever do whatever the F he wanted. Misbehaving pirates would be marooned on desert islands.
Do you remember the other thing they would do?
They often had small bands or theater productions aboard to entertain themselves because they spent a significant amount of time at sea. Food was much, much better on a pirate ship, and some pirates actually even were upstanding citizen members of society with families and fabulous homes back where they were from. See privateers. Okay. Yes?
Do you know what one thing they would give to somebody marooned if they were nice? A gun with one bullet.
Well,
in order to shoot yourself in the head.
You had to be pretty bad to get thrown off a pirate ship, though. Really.
Normally, if you were just bad, they just pull into the closest pirate port and kick you the hell off. You actually had to do something that violated their code of conduct to do that. Yeah, you have to be a special. I believe it was mainly reserved for people who killed other pirates of the same crew.
It didn't specifically say what really misbehaved was, but so the prompt for that is to stitch on a project that is well behaved and explain why it is well behaved. So I picked Oh Feathers by Rosewood Banner because it's just really easy to stitch on. I mean, with the sulky thread, you only have to use one strand, and it's fairly, consistent pattern to stitch, so I have not had any problems with it yet. Alright. Pirate ships had some unlikely crew members. In many cases, they would carry with them animals that could provide some form of milk, egg-producing birds, and ultimately, fresh meat. Parrots were actually considered a pirate's pet. They were compact companions that didn't require much space or food, could be taught to talk, always an entertaining task, and when they returned to ports like London and New York City, they could be sold at a high price because they were an exotic pet. So stitch on something that is exotic.
Would you know another animal they had on ships back then that they loved and treated very nicely? Cats.
This is true. Well, that was kind of true of all ships.
Yeah, period. And there's a very simple reason why. Rats eat rations.
And carry disease.
They didn't really understand that much back then. It was mainly because, well, they knew it spoiled the food. They knew rats in the root spoiled the food. They didn't understand disease completely back then. But they knew rats in food meant bad food. And cats in ship equaled less rats.
Yep. So speaking of, there's the cat. So my exotic item is my peacock and no feathers.
That's exotic.
I think that works. And then our standard stitch on a sal of your choice and your non-counting daily 30 challenge. Which I actually will have something to show you for my non-counting daily 30 challenge because on World Cross Stitch Day last month, I earned a free pass for doing a pop-up prompt that allowed me to use a non-cross-stitched item for my daily 30 for 1 week, which I'm doing crochet with. So I will share that with you next week. Okay. Sorry that this has kind of been a long...
That was on my leg.
It's probably extra. Sorry this has been a long video, but there's been a lot to get into. So for the September monthly that we got on Thursday, I will try to make this as quickly as possible. It is education related and all about school. So, stitch on something that reminds you of your early days of education, primary school. So think kindergarten through 5th or 6th grade. I did my flat. I did a One Nation because of that song, 50 Nifty United States. Middle school. Stitch on a project that reminds you of your days in middle school or junior high. Think about age 11 to 13. That's about the time I learned cross stitch. So I could stitch on really anything. I know I have a cross stitch, like a stitching themed project by Jardin Privé. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Probably what I'm going to use. Stitch on a project that reminds you of your high school days. I legitimately considered finding a project that I hate because I hated high school. No, I'm not lying. Couple people suggested working on something with a vehicle because that's kind of about when you learn how to drive. I might do that because I have 2 projects that I plan to start this month that have trucks. I'm pretty sure I have, I think I have another project that has a vehicle on it. But anyways.
I have a really stupid suggestion.
What?
Supernatural. Isn't that when you started getting into that type of stuff?
That is true.
How do you know we've known each other for a while?
Graduation. Stitch on a project that contains an item that could be given as a graduation gift. Again, something with a vehicle would work. I also got some. One of my friends gave me some cross stitch stuff when we graduated from high school because I liked cross stitch, so I could do that. Stitch on a project that reminds me of activities you do on vacation or you do during summer break. I think about that one a little bit. I could probably do one of my farming things because if you're like me, you grew up on a farm, summer break was all about farming. Okay. Stitch on a project Stitch on a project that contains an item that can be found in a classroom. Flags can still be found in a classroom, so I stitched on One Nation. Stitch on a project that contains a theme that could be used during a group project. When I was in home economics classes, all of our cooking projects were group projects, so I could stitch on something with food. What?
Not kidding. We actually had group projects on cryptids in school. Because I grew up in New Jersey.
I'm not doing the cryptid saga.
Supernatural are cryptids.
True.
Well, I grew up in New Jersey. The Jersey Devil. It was actually what my teacher used to do regional, different type of local legend monsters. I forget which class.
I would probably assume either history or English lit.
I think it was American history.
It could be.
But it was just funny how all these different regions had these different monsters.
I could also do one of my pretty ladies because they're very fancy and dressed up and would be like theater production, I guess you would say. And we did in my freshman English lit class, we did a lot of plays as group projects. I don't know, I've got some options. Stitch on a project that reminds you of your favorite lesson from school. Again, home ec, sewing, clothes. We used Raven Queen. Stitch on a project dedicated to your favorite teacher. Greyhound ear because my favorite teacher loves dogs. Extracurricular, stitch on a project that reminds you of an extracurricular activity. Raven Queen was ready for the theater. I have already done 5 of the 10 monthlies. Yes. And it is the 5th. To be fair, One Nation, because it's all one color, stitches up really quick.
I have a suggestion for your middle school one.
What?
Scenic Farm. It's a kit. What did you start stitching with?
I actually didn't really start stitching with kits.
Oh.
There weren't a whole lot of kits out when I started stitching. And what was available was linen, and I didn't really know how to do that. I tried one project in linen, and it did not go well. So...
Okay.
Bought several books.
Next. Moving on.
So that is plans. Announcements.
Nope.
Minimal announcements. Well, I do have one announcement that is regards to ordering. Obviously, anything we talk about, anything we show and talk about, if you would like to order it, you can contact me. And most of the things are still available to order. Some are not. Fabrics.
And everybody's behind and back ordered.
And let me tell you how behind Witchelt is. I ordered floss on August 16th. That's still not here yet, so. Cut off for the mystery box is October 1st. If you do not have your order in by October 1st, you will not be eligible to get a mystery box. The end. This video is going to probably be over an hour long. Close to an hour long. Sorry.
Not sorry.
What do we want the people to do, honey?
We want them to have a nice day. Or evening, depending on your time of day. Please comment, subscribe, bell notification, thingy bobby doll, YouTube thingy.
Share with your friends.
We need 2 more subscribers. Say 300 just because I like 300. random number? No, it was 4 people. We're really close to 300.
We're really close to 300.
So go bot 4 people, and tell them to subscribe.
It'd be really nice to hit 1,000 eventually. Anyways, thank you guys for spending a little bit of your day with us. We hope you had a good time. We hope we entertained you.
I hope you enjoyed the squirrel train.
Have a great week. We will see you next week.
Bye!